Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Chamisa has launched his new political party, a new fresh start, he calls it. And many people have responded with enthusiasm, whilst others have expressed their reservations. Let's just listen to the beginning of his speech, and then we will discuss it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press corps, fellow citizens. I come to you at such a critical moment in the history of our country, possibly after 2 years, having left the dance floor, hoping that somebody else would occupy that dance floor. But I see there's none who has chosen to occupy the dance floor, and the dance floor is vacant. And I've seen it fit that I'm back on the floor to dance for my nation, to dance for the citizens, and to dance for the future. Our nation faces a pivotal moment and a critical juncture in the history of our country. The promise of independence has not yet translated into that rapid, accelerated transformation that we hoped to see. We have not seen transformation. That promise has been hijacked. We have not seen shared prosperity. We have not seen the dignity that had been promised to the citizens. We have not seen the sovereignty that the citizens were promised. We have not seen opportunities for all. But today, Zimbabwe is gripped by a disputed national processes cycle, deepening economic hardships, political uncertainty, social collapse, and moral decay. Government services and supports has been partisanized, meaning to say that things are done according to the partisan lines. We've seen an escalation of discohesion, unfolding instability, heightened national anxiety, and eroded public trust. We've endured decades of crisis, political intolerance, national discohesion. Hatred has become a religion. Hate has been foisted upon the citizens on account of politics and political differences. Zimbabwe continues to suffer from a debilitating legitimacy crisis born out of rigged elections, institutionalized idolatry, sponsored hate, contrived intolerance, endemic corruption, illegal recalls, hijacking of genuine alternative or opposition, and ubiquitous state capture. For Zimbabweans in the diaspora, life has not been easy. The struggle is real. Men who have left our country continue to suffer and wallow in abject poverty. The immigration issues affecting the world, and Zimbabweans in particular, are numerous. The harassment, the embarrassment, the humiliation that we have to endure is despicable. Some are locked up in unlawful detentions. Concurrently, we've also seen the resilience of the citizens of Zimbabwe that remains unbroken. From our towns to our villages, in our factories, our industries, in diaspora, and at home, the call is clear. Change must happen, and change must kick in. Zimbabwe must reset. Zimbabwe needs a fresh start. This is a moment for a fresh start, a new beginning that is anchored on transformation, unity, hope, and purposeful action. We are all aware of the crisis in Zimbabwe. It is a crisis of a national proportion, a crisis of governance. It is a leadership crisis characterized by disputed national processes, discredited elections, and a stolen mandate, which creates instability, uncertainty, hardships, and definitely shortages in everything. It has led to abuse, desperation, and division. We've been working tirelessly behind the scenes, even as I left the dance floor of the Triple C. And a lot has happened. We're hoping to reignite the hope, and we are reigniting that hope. We have been working through the SADC channels and other channels globally to make sure that we build that global solidarity for the people of Zimbabwe to achieve change in no time in Zimbabwe.
I'll stop it there. Ben.
Good day to you and good day to all viewers. Thank you for joining us. We may not have heard, but I've heard this story over and over again. Of Chamisa is no longer on the dance floor, or Chamisa is no longer in the arena. There's a vacuum. No one is willing to fill it, and so forth. It really hurts and discourages, especially people who want to see Zimbabwe prosper, that each and every time, citizens are willing to go back to something that they know that really does not work. And Chamisa doesn't work. He never left. And we've always been saying since the day he says he's taking a sabbatical. And we said that the only reason why he's not showing up is because people will demand accountability. You promised this, and you are in a habit of, of delivering very little of your promises. That is the reason why he left in the first place. Now he is testing the waters to see how calm it is. And he kept on, tagging at us, giving us, scriptures here and there, and little hints, and so forth. And he really thinks that, people are kids and, you can walk all over the people of Zimbabwe. And yes, some you can, because I'm pretty sure there are some fools that, will allow. We got to call it a spade. You have to be foolish enough to believe what he's saying. And you have to be foolish to believe that he is genuine. Because he's done this over and over again. He said the same very thing from long back. And when it doesn't work, he disappears on you, leaves you to suffer the consequences of his actions and yours, whilst he benefits and hides. Oh, it's really disappointing, It's really, really disappointing.
I think I'm disappointed with his choice of words there. This is the moment. As if to say, we've done nothing about it because we have not yet reached this point. The country is in a mess, in a political mess, and in total economic meltdown. And people like Nelson Chamisa and his MDC friends, the people of Zimbabwe, have risked everything to elect them into positions of power and authority these last 25 years. So the whole argument of saying this is the moment, one has got to ask, are you trying to suggest that all along you were waiting for this moment? You were doing nothing because you were waiting for this moment. And all the history of failures were necessary to get us to this moment. To be more specific, let's look at the issue, for instance, of disputed elections. We cannot deny that Chamisa himself and his MDC friends had the opportunity to implement the democratic reforms which would have stopped ZANU-PF rigging the elections. So are we saying they did not implement even one token reform all those years, this last 25 years, including the 5 years in the GNU, because they wanted us to get to this point so that now they can do something about it? It's absurd. This is just absurd. I think we are dealing here with a politician and his friends who will never admit that they failed the nation. They will never admit that. Those of you who have got a chance to listen to that whole speech, they will realize that in the entire speech, he never at any point admitted that he and these MDC, Triple C friends failed the nation. And that, to me, is one of the big disappointments in this whole scenario. I would like to play a video of this gentleman who himself is disappointed by Chamisa. Sorry, Ben, go ahead. I seem to be having some problem. I need to set it up. Go ahead.
You know, Wilbert, if you were waiting for an apology or some kind of statement to say I was wrong, I really think, you know, you're hoping for too much. I mean, this guy here is a serial liar. We have to say it as it is, because it's not the first con, it's not the second con either. He's been conning a lot of people for a very long time, and guess what? He's figured that he can get away with it because he's got very incredibly naive followers out there. Yes, sirs, that will follow unconditionally, no questions asked. You jump, they say hi, how high. You know, here is a man that had earlier spoken that God had made plans, and now he's canceling God's plans for this moment. This is what he's saying. He stood up, used the name of God in vain, and yet he is the one that keeps giving you Bible verses. We got to draw the line at some point to say, look, this here does not make sense what you are saying. Why did you lead us through 2018? Why did you lead us through 2023 when you knew that this was the moment that you really wanted? Why did you lie to us all along? These are very important questions. And these are the questions that he avoided by taking that break. He never left. He took a break away from accountability. Period. It's asking for too much from somebody that has a habit of lying to finally come clean. It's a long shot, a shot in the dark. And I I don't think Chamisa is that kind of a guy that has got the integrity to come up and say, I am sorry.
Well, let me play that video clip now.
adzoka Chamisa ari kupai futi imwe hope. Chechi ndimune problem, ndimune era. Vanhu vekumachechi ndimunoda kumbomiswa nyaya. Chamisa akakudzai 2023. Zopinda muoffice akaverenga mavhesi mukanamata mukafasta. Mwari wenyu was useless, he couldn't help you out. Chamisa kota mavhesi and he failed. He failed. Ndobva kupai futi hope yekuti sadhaki iri kuzouya, he America ichazopindira, he zvichazodai zvichazodai. He mazepe emwana abirwa mwana, he what. Chamisa anoita politics dzevana vadiki. Chamisa anoita politics dzevanhu vasina kukwana. And I feel sorry for anyone anotera Nelson. Andotonzira vanhu dzidza vanotera Nelson. Munopuwa hope. Asi hamuna kumbonzwa voice raJesu. The same people vari kubheliva muna Jesu are the same people. The same people who believe muna Jesus are the same.
I do apologize for the poor quality. Seem to have lost the sound there. But I think what the gentleman was trying to say there is a very valid point. Chamisa even evoked the name of God.
Strength in the structures to remove ZANU-PF from power. Sometimes chimbofesa reality chimbomira kumbodzungaira, chimbomira kudzungaira, chimbomira kupo. Chamisa mukavatombomuona chimbomubata mumbomurova steriki. Chamisa ada kutomborowa, chimbomubata mumbomurova zvakanakisisa. Atisi vana vadiki, atisi mafuza. Chamisa was used kubvisa vana tendai biti in politics. Chamisa was used kubvisa vana washmen nqobe in politics. Chamisa was used to destroy the opposition party. Chamisa destroyed the opposition parties in Zimbabwe. And nasi you munomukuchira maoko Chamisa adzoka, president Manyama. Makristo chimbomirayo nini man, chimbomira kudzungaira. Chimbomira kuita vanhu vasina kukwana, chimboshandisa njere. Chamisa ada kumiswa. Chamisa adzoka.
I think what he's trying to say there is a valid point. We can't keep on repeating the same thing. Chamisa in his speech was talking of we've got a crisis of disputed elections. And yet he is the one who has ignored the advice of others, including SADC, and the various election observers, who have said these elections are flawed and you need to implement reforms. Chamisa has ignored those reforms, and he was the one advocating that we go ahead with the elections with no reforms. And then the day after the election, he's the one talking of elections were rigged, disputed election processes. It just doesn't make any sense. You are the one who was encouraging people to participate. And now you are the one who turns around and say, oh, the election process is flawed. So why did you encourage people to participate? I think people in Zimbabwe, I agree with the gentleman here, are being taken for a ride. And it is our own fault. Because when you are taken for a ride, for 25 years, the MDC triple C guys, they failed to implement even one token reform, and you still allow them to con you into participating in flawed elections, to give ZANU-PF legitimacy and perpetuate your own suffering. That, I believe, demands people to seriously look in the mirror and say, what's wrong with me?
You know, I will say it again. This man is a serial liar. Look, he's already saying I am in discussions with SADC. There is no discussions. SADC gave you recommendations, and it's not the first time. They gave you back in 2018. They gave you in 2023. You have done absolutely nothing about the recommendations. How then do you go there and say we are talking? SADC has already given us the answers. What we need to do is to implement the answers. And Chamisa has done nothing. Instead, he went into hiding. It's a lie after a lie. And, with the moment, you start lying, you have to look for another lie to cover up for another lie. I bet you if you were to ask SADC itself, have you been talking to this guy? They will probably tell you no. Because there is nothing to talk about. The report was given. Our elections are a sham. They are flawed. They are illegal. That was the verdict. And then they went ahead to give you the correction. And instead of taking the corrections, manning up to say, I lied then. I'm sorry. Let us try and fix this thing together. I have the corrections here. What do you think we do? And we move forward with it. He did not do that. Now he is back. He's saying, I am talking to SADC. I am talking to different. It's all another lie after another lie. And I have to agree with this gentleman to say, there has to be something terribly wrong with people that will follow Chamisa as the next best thing, as the best foot forward, as they say. You are dragging not only you in the mud, you are dragging the whole country as well, even the future generation, by following this character that has lack of integrity. Everything he says, he will promise you so much and deliver very little. This time you're promising that things are going to be different. Where is the evidence that suggests that things will be different? Because from where I stand, the recommendations that were needed for us to finally have free, fair, and credible elections, you abandoned and you ran away. And then you want to come back because we are now at the eve of 2028. You want to start dragging the country into campaign mode. And we start that vicious cycle all over again, only to be disappointed. Then you will go back into hiding. There has to be something seriously wrong with people that will follow Chamisa through, all this disappointment and continuous lying. There has to be something seriously wrong there.
Well, I've played this video clip just to remind people that the issue of Chamisa lied is not, as he would want some people to believe it, a matter of some people hate him. This is a historic fact.
Makorokoto Zimbabwe nokuti hakuna munhu anomira kana denga raronga plan. Denga raronga plan, denga harifoiri. Plan yaMwari haifoiri. Ini ndatanga kugadzira cabinet. There is no way we are not going to form a new cabinet. There is no way we are not going to have a celebration. There is no way we are not going to have an inauguration. Let's start preparing for our inauguration. Let's start preparing for our celebration.
He even evoked the name of God. Plan yaMwari haifoiri. I think Zimbabweans have got to really seriously look at this problem. Nations get the government they deserve. We cannot deny that we have earned this corrupt, incompetent, and murderous ZANU-PF dictatorship, plus their equally corrupt, incompetent, and utterly useless MDC, CCC opposition. You cannot deny it. Because we ourselves have watched these two parties completely destroy the nation. We are now rallying round behind somebody whom we know is a liar. We know he lied and conned people to participate in a flawed elections only to give ZANU-PF legitimacy and perpetuate the dictatorship. Let me tell you something. As much as Chamisa has launched his new party, I can tell you now that all those who are going to join him in this new movement or whatever they call it, they have their eyes on participating in 2028 elections no matter what. We saw this happen in 2023. Even when SADC and the AU election observers had condemned those elections as flawed and illegal, the CCC leaders who had participated in those elections and who had won their seats went up to take up their seats. Because they were after getting a seat on the gravy train And they didn't care that by taking it up, they are giving ZANU-PF legitimacy. That is exactly what all those who be around Chamisa in this new movement will be looking at. You can ask him now, will you participate in 2028 elections? He may try to dodge the question, but I can tell you now, he will be participating. And those around him will be participating, because all they are after is a share of the spoils of power. They don't care whether that is only helping to perpetuate the dictatorship and the people suffering. This is where we are. So in terms of change, this new party is not different from when he launched CCC. The economy was also in a mess. There were disputed elections. So he's just reenacting what he did when he launched CCC. He is reenacting what he did when he took over from Morgan Tsvangirai. The damage had already been done. Chamisa and company had failed to implement even one token reform out of agreed. And while some of us thought that was just limited to the trappings of high office, the E-class Mercedes-Benz, the generous salaries, etc., etc., it turns out that ZANU-PF had given a number of the top brass in the opposition party farms and cash that enabled them to live in luxury. And that, I believe, is the main motivation why they would participate in flawed elections and con people to believe things have changed when in reality nothing had changed. Ben, do you want to give your closing remarks?
I would say, Mr. Chamisa, from the near 2 million people that voted for you, a significant number of people have found you out. People now know who you really are. That hiding was really hiding behind a finger. People knew why you ran away. It was because you did not want to be accountable for your words and your actions. It is just that simple. And I'm on a positive, that number of people that have finally realized that this guy is a con man and he is actually ZANU-PF in all but name and dragging the nation into a meaningless process. I would give these people a thumbs up. Well done for finally coming to the realization that by supporting Chamisa and by participating in rigged elections, we are only prolonging our suffering. There's nothing new that he is coming up with. It could be, yes, a new name, but the same thing. You don't paint a broken down vehicle, a vehicle with no engine. You don't, no matter how nice it looks, it doesn't work. That is Chamisa in full description. He does not work. He is not the best foot forward. The guy is lying, and the guy will continue to lie and will dodge accountability. And those that are still to figure out something that is clear as daylight, you are dragging the nation down under with this kind of blind loyalty. The man will never deliver free, fair, and credible elections. That is what Zimbabwe needs. Free, fair, and credible elections. He will not deliver because he has been given advice from SADC that is talking about, from the international community that is talking about, and he has refused it. And without any reforms, we can certainly say ZANU-PF will rig the 2028 election and get away with it. And he will disappear and leave us to wallow for another 5 years and then come back with a new thing and a new moment. And God will be in this one as well, I suppose. We got to stop, being taken for a ride this easily. We are a people with brains. That is what differentiates us from animals, our ability to think. And I say to those that still haven't got it, you really need to put your thinking caps on, because this is another ride that we are being taken through. Thank you.
I'd like to give my closing remarks by commenting on the picture that is being shown there. Chamisa is back. The fight to stop ZANU-PF begins. This is meaningless. Are we saying here that the last 25 years, the people have risked everything to elect Chamisa and company into positions of power and authority, and they decided that they will not take the fight to ZANU-PF. They will not implement any democratic changes, although that is what they've been promising the people. When they launched their party, they called it the Movement for Democratic Change. And yet, 25 years later, there's not even one token democratic change they implemented, even when they had the golden opportunity to do so. Are we supposed to believe that they were waiting until now to fight ZANU-PF? The truth of the matter is, Chamisa and company failed to implement even one token reform when they had the golden opportunity to do so during the GNU. It is naive to think that they will do so now. So I reiterate what I said before. Chamisa and company have launched this new party as a vehicle to allow them to participate in the 2028 elections, because CCC, they'd abandoned it. But otherwise, there is really nothing different from CCC, from the new party. This is just opportunism and deluding people, make them believe that this time things will change, when in reality, nothing is changing. And I think as a people, we need to be a bit smarter. We cannot allow this madness to continue. If people participate in 2028 elections and give ZANU-PF legitimacy, then we, as a people, have only got ourselves to blame for it. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good night.